Hello my dear students, today I will start unit 4 shallow foundation and deep foundation. Let us first discuss about shallow foundations. Every structure consists of two parts. All of you know that: substructure or foundation and superstructure. Different structural elements such as beams, slabs, staircases and columns which are placed above the ground level and are known as superstructure. Okay, so all of you know beams, slabs, staircases which are placed above the ground level. Okay, this all comes under superstructure. This superstructure is placed on the top of the foundation structure, designated as substructure, as they are placed below the ground level. Superstructures is placed on the top of the foundation, and substructures, they are placed below the ground level. The elements of the superstructure transfers the loads and moment to its adjacent element below it, and finally all loads and moments come to the foundation structure, which in turn transfers them to the underlying soil or rock. All of you know this. So the load from the superstructure, it reaches to the foundation structure, which in turn transfers them to the underlying soil or rock. Thus, the foundation structure effectively supports the superstructure. However, all types of soil get compressed significantly and cause the structure to settle. So, there are some requirements for a satisfactory foundation. Let us discuss about that. That is, a properly designed foundation must satisfy the following three design criteria. The first one is foundation structures should be able to sustain the applied loads, moments, forces and induced reactions without exceeding the safe bearing capacity of the soil. Now all of you know what is safe bearing capacity of the soil. So the foundation always should be able to sustain the loads, moments, forces and reactions. Okay. The second requirement is the settlement of the structure should be as uniform as possible, and it should be within the tolerable limits. So you have to see, always the settlement of the structure should be as uniform as possible, and also it should be within the limits. It is well known from the structural analysis that differential settlement of supports causes additional moments in statically indeterminate structures. All of you know now what is statically determinate beams and statically indeterminate beams, right? So similarly, statically structures and statically determinate structures and statically indeterminate structures. So settlement always the supports, differential settlements of the supports causes additional moments in indeterminate structures. Therefore, avoiding the differential settlement is considered as more important than maintaining uniform overall settlement of the structure. Always you have to avoid the differential settlement, okay, as possible as to maintain the uniform overall settlement of the structure and avoid the differential settlement. In addition to the two major requirements mentioned above, the foundation structure should provide adequate safety for maintaining the stability of structure due to either overturning or sliding. Detailed information you will get in IS code 456. Okay. So major two requirements are the safe bearing capacity and settlements. So means the foundation should able to sustain the loads within the safe bearing capacity limit, and also have to avoid the settlements. These are the two main requirements. In addition to that, the other one is this foundation structure should provide adequate safety for maintaining the stability of the structure due to either overturning or sliding. It is to be noted that this part of the structure is constructed at the first stage before other components like columns, beams, etc. are taken up. So, in a project, foundation design and details are completed before designs of other components are undertaken. So, main thing you have to work on soil supporting must be safe against shear failure. Foundation must not settle or deflect. Should safe against sliding and overturning. These 3 points you have to keep it in your mind and design the structure. Okay, first you have to design the foundation based on these 3 conditions. There are some factors which affects the foundation choice. The first factor is subsurface soil, next is groundwater table conditions, type of structure, magnitude of load and tolerance of structure, that is permissible values of settlement and tilt, etc. So these are the factors you have to consider for the foundation selection. First, let us see what is foundation. Okay, it is the lowest part of a structure which is constructed below the ground level. A foundation is an integral part of the structure which transfers the load of the superstructure to the subsoil. You can see here, this is a firm ground, means a strong soil, and this is a weak soil. Okay, so this is a bedrock, this is also bedrock. So how we have to go about the foundation? So now you can see here, this is a shallow foundation. Small depth of the foundation is enough, but here you can see here the depth of the foundation, that is more. You have to go for deep foundations. The foundation of a structure is always constructed below ground level to increase the lateral stability of the structure. So mainly to increase the stability of the structure, this foundation of the structure is always constructed below the ground level. So mainly there are 2 types of foundations. Shallow foundations. Here shallow foundation in which the depth of the foundation is less than or equal to the width of the footing, means D is less than or equal to B. Shallow foundations are foundations where the depth of the footing is generally less than or equal to the width of the footing. Deep foundations, D is greater than or equal to B. Deep foundations are the foundations where the depth of the footing is greater than the width of the footing, not equal. Okay, it is just greater than the width of the footing. Next, let us discuss about the shallow foundation. What are the different types of shallow foundations? The first one is spread footing or isolated column footing. It is also called as isolated column footing. Second one is the combined footings. Third one is strap footings. And fourth one is strip or continuous footing, and the last one is mat or raft footing. So these are all comes under shallow foundations. Under deep foundations there are 3 types: pier foundation, pile foundation and well foundation. So now first let us discuss about the shallow foundation and then we will go for deep foundations. So first let us see what are the suitability of foundation for shallow. Bearing capacity of soil is more, groundwater table is low, dewatering of foundation is not required, top layers of soil are uniform and stable, load on the structure is less. If these conditions are satisfied, then only you can go for shallow foundations. Otherwise, you have to go for deep foundations. Means bearing capacity of the soil should be more. In that case, you can go for shallow foundation. Even groundwater table is low. You cannot go for shallow foundation if the groundwater level is high. And also, deep watering of the foundation is not required. Sometimes what happens, if the soil is too clay or if there is more water, then you have to go for dewatering. But in such cases, shallow foundation is not recommended. Okay, and also the top layers of the soil are uniform and stable. If the top layer of the soil is uniform and stable, then you can go for shallow foundation. And also the load on the structure is less, then you can go for shallow foundation. So these are the some of the suitability of the shallow foundations. Next, let us discuss about deep foundations. Here, bearing capacity of the soil is low. If suppose the bearing capacity of the soil is low, then groundwater table is high, then dewatering of the foundation is costly and difficult. Then top layers of the soil are not uniform and unstable. Then load on the structure is more. Under these conditions, you can go for deep foundations. Shallow foundations we will study in detail. If the soil conditions immediately below the structure are sufficiently strong and capable of supporting the required load, then shallow spread footings can be used to transmit the load. On the other hand, if the soil conditions are weak, then piles or piers are used to carry the loads into deeper, more suitable soil. This is for deep foundation. This is for shallow foundation. Let us see some of the design considerations for shallow foundation. Must not settle excessively. Must be placed at depth sufficient to prevent damage from surface environmental effects, that is like frost effect, swelling, shrinkage and erosion and score effects. Okay, so it should be sufficient to, depth. It must be placed at a depth which should be sufficient to prevent the damage from these environmental effects. Must not cause failure of supporting soil. Okay, so these are some of the design considerations. Now mainly it is classified like this also, different types of the footings. The foundations, mainly shallow foundation and deep foundation. Shallow foundation, depth of the footing is less than or equal to width of the footing, and deep foundations is depth of the footing is greater than the width of the footing. Under shallow there are footings and raft footing, under footing, spread footing, stack footing, combined footing, again spread footing, isolated footing, strip or continuous footing, and again combined footing there are rectangular and trapezoidal footing. And raft foundation, again there are two types, conventional and buoyancy. Under deep there are three types, deep footing, piles, piers and well foundation. So this is the general type of the classification of the foundations or footings. Now let us discuss the first one, the spread footings. A spread footing is a type of shallow foundation used to transmit the load of an isolated column or that of a wall to the subsoil. Spreads the superimposed load of a wall or a column over the larger area. So it spreads the load of a wall or a column to the larger area. Used where the loads are light or there are strong shallow soils. This is the most common type of foundation due to their low cost and ease of construction. The base of the column or wall is enlarged or spread to provide individual support for the load. Consists of concrete slabs located under each structural column and a continuous slab under load-bearing walls. These are used in small to medium-sized structures with moderate to good soil condition. For high-rise buildings, it is not efficient. Spread footings support either column or wall. It may be the following kinds. The first one is single footing for columns, in which the loaded area of column has been spread to the larger size through single spread. The base is generally made of concrete. You understood, no? Here, the loaded area of the column has been spread to the larger size through a single spread. It is generally made of a concrete. Stepped footing for a column. This type of footing provided for heavily loaded column, which require greater spread with the steps. The base is generally made of concrete. Here, there is a spread but with the steps, because to transfer the heavy load supported columns. Next one is sloped footing for columns. In this type of footing, concrete base does not have uniform thickness but is made sloped. Wall footing without step. It consists of concrete base without any steps, including masonry wall. Let us discuss in the next class. Thank you.